Yay! Hello everyone, and we are going live today with one of the funniest, sassiest, and wittiest moms I know on Instagram. So she also happens to be a sleep coach, so that's an added advantage. And the topic that we are going to cover today is, I think, a pain point for a lot of parents. And it's not just baby sleep that we're going to talk about. We're also going to talk about toddler sleep, and how to ensure that your baby sleeps enough. You as a new mother or as a parent, you get enough sleep without resorting to the harsh methods that we have all heard for so long, be it cried out, or controlled cried out, or whatever fancy names you want to call it, or you want to disguise it. But let's face it, by being kind and gentle and compassionate to your child, how you can manage your child's sleep, and how you can also get enough rest and sleep and have a happy healthy baby and a happy healthy not cranky mother. So yeah, it's a very very interesting topic, and like I said, a pain point for mothers. And we are going to talk with none other than the mom uninterrupted who has joined. Hi Amrita, and she'll be live with us shortly. She is a mom to a very pretty toddler and also a sleep coach, a sleep trainer. There's a difference, yes. And yeah, so she'll join anytime, and you can all, start shooting your questions as we speak. Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
Great, great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you so much for doing this with
Thank you so much
us.
for inviting me.
Oh no, I mean, I couldn't think of anyone else better than you to do this,
Right.
very honestly. Because I mean, apart from the topic, which itself is such a pain point for, parents, and not just new parents, for new parents and for toddler parents, for everyone. I mean, the approach that you take to it is also so important. And being a mother of two myself, and having not slept in like 4 years, I think I thought I would also do with some help. So yeah, so once again, thanks so much for joining, Amrita. And I was telling everyone that Amrita is, I mean, a mother of a very pretty toddler and a gentle sleep advisor, a
Yeah.
sleep coach, not a sleep trainer.
No.
So we'll get into that as well.
Sure.
Yeah, so thanks once again for joining, and let's get into the questions right away.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So first, let's ease everyone into it. Like, what is the importance of sleep? Why is sleep essential in a baby's growth and development?
So I'm very glad you asked me that question because when it comes to the development of our kids, babies, um, we all know that babies are, they first year they're busy tripling their size. Second year there's a lot of language speed, there's cognition, cognitive development. A lot is happening in a baby's body and mind, right? So sleep plays an important role here. How? Firstly, when it comes to growth, so growth in our bodies happens when we are in the resting phase, right? And the more a child sleeps or sleeps in an age appropriate manner, the better their growth. I'm talking about physical growth, emotional growth, mental growth, cognitive growth.
Okay.
One is that. Second is immunity. So cytokines are these proteins in our bodies, that fight diseases, and a, a restful phase accelerates or ensures that there's a good production of cytokines. Now, a lack of sleep, affects the production of cytokines, and that's why we see that when we haven't rested well, our immunity is also low, right?
Yeah.
So it's the
Yeah.
same with kids. So when it comes to their immunity, you will see that the kids who are sleeping better or sleeping age appropriately will fall less sick, will catch the common cold, cough, these virals lesser than the kids who are not, sleeping well. So when it comes to
Wow.
immunity again, sleep is extremely important. When it comes to cognition, cognition is our understanding of our surroundings and environment. And even a 1 month old has cognition, whether they are able to communicate with us or not is different, but they are trying to understand their surroundings, right? And uh, a child who sleeps well is more receptive to their environment, understands things better, because their research and studies have shown, one of the researches was done that number of kids were taken, and they were, exposed to certain activities, and then they were made to sleep. So it actually showed that when the child is napping, the neural pathways are formed, and they were able to grasp these activities better, right? So again, when it comes to
Excellent. Wow.
cognition, sleep is again extremely important in terms of understanding. Then there is behavior. I'm sure it happens with us adults also, that when there's a lack of sleep, we are very cranky. We are upset with our surroundings. We're cranky. We're not in a great mood. But the good news is,
That's
as
my
adults,
explanation for everything.
but the good news is, yes,
So,
I mean, all moms can relate to it, right? Good news is that as adults, we are able to regulate our moods and manage this
yeah,
stress, right?
yeah,
We can talk to a friend, we can binge watch something, read, write, whatever, kids don't have the ability to regulate this, so it affects their behavior. So you'll see a child who's not slept well is always cranky, compared to a child who's resting well. A well-rested
yeah,
child is a happy child. So,
yeah,
it's also related to food. A lack of sleep is a contributing factor to childhood obesity. So when it comes to
okay, wow,
growth, development, cognitive abilities, behavior, immunity,
immunity, yeah,
plays a major role. So if you ask me,
yeah,
sleep is a pretty big deal in terms of,
it
as
is,
far as our kids are concerned. So
yeah. So sleep is important, period. It's
absolutely,
important, yeah.
it
So,
is important.
but I mean, when you say it's that important, and in the same breath, you also say that, no to sleep training. So how do you ensure that, that baby and mother gets enough sleep? Because like babies are very, some babies will just wake up at a small noise, or some, they'll not sleep as well as you would want them to. So how to ensure that a mother and a baby will get enough sleep?
So I always tell parents that it is important that you don't overtire your child. Sleep training is not the only way to ensure the child is sleeping, and even sleep trained kids are not they're not regression proof, or they're not there's no magic pill that they take and they're going to be sleeping through the night. They all sleep trained kids keep waking up during regression, during teething phases,
Yeah,
during illnesses, and then the parents have to start the whole process again. So which is distressing to the parent and the child both. And the key factor to remember here is that we follow an age appropriate sleep routine for the child. So for example, a 6-month-old should be on 3 naps. So if you have a 6-month-old, you should ensure that they are getting those 3 naps that they need. A 21-month-old should be on 1 nap of 2.5, 3 hours. So knowledge here is important, and I would say knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge here is power. Okay,
yeah,
and when you educate yourself in terms of sleep, so sleep training usually, when there is a lack of awareness and understanding and knowledge, about sleep, uh, then we tend to resort to something, which we shouldn't do.
yeah,
But when we make ourselves aware about our baby sleep patterns, understanding that a 9-month-old will wake up every 2.5, 3 hours to nurse because it's a biological need. It is nature's way of
yeah,
ensuring that your child is thriving and growing, and your supply is also maintained. If you're a
yeah,
breastfeeding mom. So, educating yourself about what sleep pattern your child should be on, or how many number of hours your child should be sleeping, how many naps your child should be taking. When you do this, it helps you to form a routine for your kid.
okay,
And when you follow a routine for yourself and your baby, it ensures that your child is also sleeping well, and even you are sleeping well, right? So that is the focus, for me, to ensure to educate parents on whatever age their child is, at,
Yeah.
to let them know what is it that, what is the number of hours that the child should be sleeping at that age,
Mm.
and to ensure that the child is not overtired. When your child is, not overtired and they're having age appropriate naps, they will sleep better in the night. It will ensure that even you are sleeping.
Correct.
Okay, so having said that, even sleep trained kids keep waking up every time there's a regression, and there
Correct.
is some repeating. So it's not that the sleep trained kids,
It's not a
don't wake
foolproof
up.
thing, basically, and I mean,
No child
definitely
is,
not the correct
yeah,
way,
no
not the
child is regression
yeah.
proof, or
Yeah,
so yeah,
absolutely. Those developmental milestones, or they're going to meet them, and
absolutely,
they're going to go through all these phases.
yeah.
So, when you say that naps are so important, is there like a one size fits all? Like, because at 6 months, my child may not want to, like, there are these nap routines that we talk about, the 2-3-4 or the 3-3-4. So, do all kids follow those things, or is it also specific? And why, I mean, do you always stick to those routines? Like, is it a hard and fast thing that, okay, you have to follow 2-3-4 if your child is in 6 to 8 months bracket, or you have to go as per the child's cues?
So I always suggest following the child's cues, but having said that, as kids grow, they stop showing you sleep cues. So if you let a child just be, probably by the time the child realizes he or she is sleepy, they'll already have crossed over to being
Oh,
overtired,
yeah,
and then it's
thank you.
even that difficult to make the child sleep. It's a
Yeah,
task.
okay,
And
okay.
uh, these routines that we talk about, the 2-3-4, or a 3-3-4, these are structures to help parents, manage their kids' naps and sleep better. These are not hard and fast rules, you know. So, for example, my daughter was not okay with the 2-3-4 pattern. She was more or less okay with the 3-3-4 pattern. Okay.
Okay, okay.
So, so the outlining of the structure remains the same, and you can move it around your child's. You follow your
Exactly.
child's cues,
Correct.
and then you see what your child is comfortable with, and you do that.
Hmm.
So, not all kids follow it, but my suggestion would be that all kids should. Like a 2-3-4 pattern usually starts to emerge around 18.5 months. It just makes a parent's life easier.
Yeah.
It ensures that the child is sleeping well. He or she is getting age appropriate sleep, and they're napping well. It also ensures the parent is able to get some rest. And
Yeah.
when the child sleeps well in the day, they sleep well in the night. So
Yeah.
my suggestion would be to not fight it. If you're aware about something of this sort, use it to your advantage, you
Yeah.
know, and just follow your child's cue and see if a 2-3-4 or a 2.5, 3.5, 4, whatever works. And again, this takes me back to my first point, that age appropriate naps.
Yes.
So stick to that, and just ensure that your child is sleeping well so that even you can rest well.
So age appropriate, child appropriate. I mean, yeah, like you said, look at your child, look at the patterns, the cues, and then go about it in a that. And
Absolutely.
routine, like you said, routine is very, very important. I mean, having consistent routines is the key. We also spoke about regressions. And,
Yeah.
these are especially the one that happens around 3.5, 4 months. This is, because I have experienced it myself, is a time. If you don't know about regression, you start doubting your supply and a lot of other things. You
Absolutely.
start thinking कि यार ये so इतनी बार उठ रहा है, she used to sleep for 3-4 hours at a stretch. What happened all of a sudden? And now you will, everyone starts telling you that you need to start supplementing. So can you explain that, how often do these regressions happen and how can you deal with it?
Sure. So the first regression to hit parents is the 4th-month sleep regression. Now, before I get into when regression happens, I want to quickly take a minute to talk about what are regressions. Now, I always like to say that regressions are actually progressions in disguise, because every time your child is hitting a regression, they are progressively moving towards a
The
developmental
milestone. Yeah.
milestone. Okay,
Yeah.
so the good news is, the positive way to look at it is that every time you cross a regression, your child will have learned a new skill. Like, for example, between the age of 3 to 5, the child learns to roll over,
Yeah.
So that's why around 4 months is when there is a sleep regression,
Yeah.
Between around 8 to 10 months, they're learning to crawl and stand with support. There's another
Yeah.
regression at the time. 12-month regression is related to the walking milestone. Your child is learning to trying to
Right.
walk. There's a
Right.
small regression in 16 month where they're trying to, there's a lot of cognition that's happening. 18 to 24 months, there's one at 18 months, 21 months, and 24 months.
Wow.
So pretty much these
Okay.
months are marked by regression, but there's a massive, massive language explosion.
Correct.
You will see that after the regression is over, your child is
And it's
suddenly
going on in my mind. Okay, I'm here right now. So
yeah, so they've suddenly started stringing 3-4 words together and they're
yeah.
talking now.
Yeah.
Right? So why regressions happen is because there's just so much going on in a toddler's mind and bodies. They're just so busy grasping the environment, picking up language, picking up
Yeah.
something else from the environment, interacting with the environment in a verbal, in a non-verbal way. So there's just too much happening in their brains. So for a brief period, sleep gets affected. Sleep regresses for a bit, and once they have grasped this milestone that they're working on, sleep goes back to how it was. Yeah. So these are the months that are marked by it. Now, my suggestion would be few kids delay bedtimes. There are few kids who resist naps. My suggestion would be to follow your child's cues. If there is, suppose a nap is, dropped, or it's short, move bedtime earlier. A nap is delayed. If a nap is delayed, be okay with a later bedtime that day.
Yeah.
You cannot, in your mind, just be a little flexible. Follow your child's cues and see. Don't be informed about it when these regressions happen. So you're not caught off guard and then tend to get exhausted and tired. Take as much help you can.
Yeah.
And lots of coffee and cake.
And some ice cream. I think that can take you through everything.
Ice cream, whatever.
And maybe an occasional wine.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I think the bottom line here is to follow the child's cues and take it easy, like not get worked up yourself by everything, because I think at the end of the day, you have to tell yourself that this too shall pass.
Absolutely.
So yeah. And you mentioned about resisting naps and toddlers. I think this goes hand in hand. Why do they do it? And I mean, how do you manage toddler sleep? They just don't want to sleep.
So I keep saying this every time I have a discussion with any parent. We do my workshops or I come for a live session. The toddler sleep is a very different game. It's not like a newborn. You take the newborn 15 minutes before and just 15 minutes they go off to sleep. It's not like that. Like it just mentions a lot going on in a toddler's mind and body, and they do need that. They need 45 minutes to an hour to wind down.
Wow.
Okay. Toddlers are now individuals. Okay, they're independent individuals. Who are trying to now understand. They have understood there are different entities from their parents, from their primary caregivers, and they want to exert this independence. They want to tell you that okay, hey, listen, I'm an individual now. And most of the time, this resistance happens is when there is no winding down time, there's no bedtime routine that is followed.
Okay.
And second, where most parents are like, no, don't do this, no. There's a lack of yeses through the day. Okay, so I always suggest parents that please say yes as long as it is a safe option. Be a yes parent. Don't be a permissive parent. I'm not saying keep saying yes to everything, but I'm saying be a yes parent. Do you let your child choose the night suit they want to wear? Do you let your child choose the book they want to read through the day? When we hear our toddlers through the day and we give them, autonomy over things that they would like to do, there is less resistance during that time. Because then towards if there's a lot of no, you're not hearing your child out. There's a lot of autocracy over autonomy. And then they tend to have a huge meltdown and delayed bedtime tactics towards at the end of the day. So one is that ensure that your toddler is involved with you through the day. You're giving them a lot of choices through the day. And second, have a very very simple but a consistent bedtime routine. So toddlers, like physically, mentally, emotionally, need around 45 minutes to an hour to wind down. So if you know that your child needs to sleep by 8 o'clock, you have to be in the room by 7:15. If you go to the
Okay.
room at around 7:45, the child will not
Mm.
sleep before 8:45. And then you tend to say that, oh, but the child delayed bedtime
Yeah.
by an hour. But they did
Yeah.
not. They
Okay.
needed that 45 minutes to wind down. You took the child in the room later than you were supposed to.
Yes.
You know?
Got it.
So
Yeah.
you move up, you go inside earlier, you wind down. See, the
Yeah.
beauty of toddlers is it's not like I mean, newborn phase is very cute and all, but toddlers, they tend to converse with you, they talk with you,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you get to ask them how their day
Absolutely.
was, even if they're
Yes.
not completely talking, they're just too much,
Yeah.
they're just tiny
It's very
versions of
sweet.
yourselves. So it's a lot of
Yeah.
fun interacting, and I tell parents, please take that opportunity. Do it. Go inside the room, change their clothes, read a nice book before they go to sleep. Talk to them, and form your own sweet routine. It can be anything that works for you, but let them wind
Got
down, and give them choices
it.
to eat.
Okay. So yeah, taking enough time. I think when it comes to toddlers, you have to modify your strategy, whatever it was, and don't expect the same thing to keep working month after month because as they
Absolutely.
grow, their needs are different, and you have to, yeah, I think you have to be hands-on parents that way. So absolutely. I think before we go in for questions, I'll just want to ask one more thing. What about these sleep aids that people use a lot of times? There are white noise apps, or there are pacifiers, or there are Julas. What do you have to say about that? How much do they help,
So
or do they not
firstly,
help?
Julas are a safety hazard. They're also a huge health risk, and they have been banned by AAP. And so I don't recommend Julas at all. They're also very difficult to wean off. Like
Yeah.
every time you go somewhere, you have to carry the whole Jula
Yeah.
shebang with you. So I don't suggest Julas. They're not safe. One is that. Um, Pacifiers also to some extent are okay. Then uh, you have to figure out why does your child need that pacifying.
Hmm.
They're not able to. Are they tired? Are they overtired? What is it? So instead of it's okay. Pacifiers are okay, but it would be more helpful for you as a parent to figure out what is it that what is the underlying need of the child at that time. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
white noise is not a sleeping aid. It doesn't make a child sleepy. It just drowns out the surrounding noise because kids biologically are light sleepers.
Hmm.
Sleep like a baby is a myth. So children are wired. They are. It is like I mentioned. It is again a biological setting in them. It ensures it's a survival instinct in children.
Yeah.
To be light sleepers, to sense separation of their caregivers. Like the minute we put them down, they
Okay.
sense it. It's a
Yeah.
biologically, this is how they keep themselves safe, and this
Okay.
is how they convey their needs. It keeps them alive, in simple words.
Okay.
So, white noise simply just drowns out the surrounding noise. So, if you live like suppose in a joint family, or you live in an area which is very noisy, there's no harm in using a white noise, machine or a white noise app. Um,
Okay.
to just drown out the sound, and it just ensure that your child is sleeping well.
Okay. Okay, understood. So I think I'd like to ask our viewers if they have any questions, and we also had some of the questions from our small WhatsApp groups. So where mothers were like, there was a working mother who has a 14, 15-month old and is trying to, start working again. And the child wakes up every 1.5 2 hours at night and only sleeps, by breastfeeding. So she's like now concerned that, I don't get enough sleep, enough rest at
So,
night. So how do I?
So I would ask the mom to actually look at the routine of the child. A 14-month-old should not be waking up every 1.5 hours. They can
Okay,
sleep for 3 hours, 4 hours at a stretch very easily.
okay, okay,
Um, and breastfeeding through the night in the night is normal. 3 to 4 times on an average in sleep is absolutely normal, is the norm. But waking up every 1.5 hours, it just seems that the child is overtired. Maybe
Okay.
the day naps are not set. So I would ask the mom to
Okay.
have a look at the day naps, and to
Okay. So
ensure that
ensure
the
is
child is
well
at least
rested
getting,
in the
yeah, at
day.
least getting 3 hours of two naps of
Daytime.
two, three and
Naps
a
in a
half
day.
hours total in the day.
Okay.
That will ensure that the child
Okay.
is sleeping well in the night.
Okay. Okay. Another question was again from a new mother, not a toddler mother. So was very tired, and I think it's a 3.5 month old baby, and she's saying that I've not slept, like even at 3 4 hours at a stretch, and I'm just tired. And obviously, people keep saying that you should not feed inside lying. So she's like, I have to get up and sit and feed every time I have to feed
No.
my child.
Okay.
So, and obviously, so that disturbs your sleep as well. So she's like, can I do anything to make my child sleep better? 3.5 4 months child.
So I just feel that the society is just out there to make a mother's life miserable.
Miserable.
Like, और कितना difficult बना सकते हैं बना दो.
Oh,
These
exactly.
myths
Let's
that
throw
if you
everything
feed
at
in
her.
the myths that if you feed in sideline position,
Yeah, yeah,
go in the ears. I've been feeding my daughter in sideline position like
yeah,
for a very long time. I know moms who
yeah.
do it.
Same here. Yeah,
It's one of the
same
ways
here.
moms can get rest. So please
Yeah.
selflessly tell her to feed the child in a sideline position. It is absolutely
Okay.
okay. She can try the
Okay.
position when the child is awake during the day so that both of them get comfortable instead of trying it during
Okay.
time. And she can continue nursing the baby in sideline position. One way is that's how she can ensure. Now the good news is the child is 3.5 months old, which means the child's circadian rhythm has already set in. Circadian rhythm
Okay.
is our body's ability to differentiate between day and night. This
Day and night.
wakes cycle. So I would suggest exposure to sunlight in the morning, exposure to natural light through the day, and ensuring that the child is at least getting 4 to 5 naps in the day.
Okay.
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 And then in the night, have a bedtime routine. It's a good time to start a bedtime routine. Consistent bedtime routine, not to keep the baby awake for longer, for more than 1.5 hours at a stretch.
Okay.
And hand over the child to someone in the morning and get that
Yeah.
1.5 hours. That's extremely important.
Yeah.
It will set
Yeah.
the tone of the day for her. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Got it. And one last question that we have is from a mother of a 8 month old boy, and this problem she's been facing. She said, I have gone through all the Gentle Sleep India and all the sleep guidelines that are there, and I have put black curtains on my room, black paper, and I go in a quiet room. I do everything, but my child doesn't sleep for more than 45 minutes to an hour. Sleeps only on me. The minute I put him down, he wakes up. And basically, she's like, now, I think I have to conclude that my child is a very light sleeper. So is there such a thing that some kids just don't sleep well, or is it like
yeah,
that?
there is.
Oh,
So some of us are biologically wired like that. So
okay.
as adults also, you will see like I'm a very light
Yeah,
sleeper.
same here.
And I cannot sleep in light. I need the room to be pitch dark. And
Okay.
my husband biologically is a very heavy sleeper. You know,
I think
so
husbands by definition are very good sleepers.
I think, yeah.
The breed is such.
Synonym for a husband is that. So there are individuals who are they're so same with their babies who are like that. Now her baby seems to be a contact napper.
Okay.
There are certain kids who are contact nappers, means they sleep better in contact. What I would suggest her is to baby wear. There are these ergonomic carriers that come. She can invest in a good
Yes.
ergonomic
Yes.
carrier and just baby wear. It'll leave her hands, it'll keep her hands free. She can just keep the baby close to her and she can continue doing whatever work she's doing. And baby wear and ensure that the child at 8 months should be on 2 naps. So ensure that the child is
Okay.
getting around 3.5 hours of naps total.
Okay.
During the day.
Okay.
It will also ensure
Okay.
that the child sleeps well in the night. So kids
Okay.
don't really need to be held, uh, you know, in the night, but they do need to be held during the day. And her baby seems to be a contact napper. So I would just
Okay.
suggest to, give in instead of fighting it. Just give
Yeah.
in, hold the child. Eventually, they all sleep on
Yeah.
their own, on beds in a different room, like you will not see a
Yeah, which
10-year-old
is
or a 5-year-old being, sleeping on the couch.
yeah, true, absolutely,
Just submit
absolutely. I think
yourself to the process for the first 2 years.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, All right. I mean, this thing, I wish I knew when I was a new mother 4 years back, because I kept feeling guilty that I'm doing it all wrong, that, I'm
Yeah.
just holding her every time. You just keep feeling bad about the decisions you make.
I think it's also
But
because the society tells you, that,
yeah,
oh, don't pick up the baby every time when
yeah,
they cry, or
yeah.
go
So
sleep, or
unfair. Yeah,
don't nurse them, or don't hold them so
yeah,
much.
yeah.
Uh, uh, so, don't.
Someone has something very nice to say about you, Amrita. I followed your guidelines from your live session, and your tips are a life savior. Thank you so much, Veena.
Thank
And
you.
she also wants to know when she can stop co-sleeping with 15 months old. I think it keeps co-sleeping with her, dear, for 2 years or so. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, what do you have to
So,
say about that?
see, co-sleeping is an individual choice. It's a
Yeah,
family-based choice. And there are some parents who
yeah,
just don't sleep. Uh, but I suggest co-sleeping more for the mom than for the baby.
yeah,
It allows the mother to rest. Because imagine having to get up every time your child wants you,
yeah,
walk towards the baby's cot, then walk back, versus having to just simply turn towards the child and,
yeah,
nurse them and go back to
yeah,
sleep. It ensures that you are sleeping well. Your sleep is not
yeah.
getting, and it also
True.
ensures that you tend to your child faster than you getting up, walking. Sometimes your
True.
child, you may not wake up on time, and baby can just completely wake up, and then
True.
it's another task to put them down to sleep. So co-sleeping
True.
ensures that you also get to rest, and there are studies and research that shows that babies who co-sleep have better quality of sleep and sleep for longer than the
Nice.
who sleep separately from their parents.
True.
So I'm
True.
laying down, the research over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
There's, I think, one more
Yeah.
question. The room
Okay. Okay. I think one last question we can maybe take. What should be the room temperature nightwear be like? Yeah.
You can keep the temperature between 25 to 27. If it's nightwear, can be like a footed romper or a onesie, or you can just, I don't know how old your child is. For younger kids, I suggest rompers and onesies that are footed. And if it's an older baby, it's a toddler, you can just simply have a night suit. Now it depends on how your, like my daughter doesn't
Weather and all.
take covers or blankets. Even I don't like to
Yeah.
take covers. So I ensure that she's wearing a socks in the night. So I put her in two layers, one simple layer of a sleeveless thermal, and also because where we live it's colder, and full sleeve night suit, um, and socks, and then there's an AC that's on around 24, 25, and fan on a low speed. So you can kids just need one extra layer than us. So if
Okay.
you're keeping cold in one layer, your child needs two layers. So that's the way.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. Excellent. I mean, there's so much I didn't know and so much I wish I knew, Amrita, and I really hope that thing that you're doing and, this helps all the new parents.
I hope
Uh,
so.
yeah, because it's very, very important, sleep and, all these things that new parents go
Absolutely.
through.
It
Yeah.
starts, sleep starts from day one, and it starts even
Yeah.
before solids, and there's so much
Yeah.
information about solids and nutrition now, but there's
Yes.
very little information, education,
Yes. Education.
support when it comes to,
Yeah.
infant sleep and toddler sleep. So,
Yeah.
uh, I
Yeah,
hope.
and I think anyone who wants more information, you can just visit Mom Uninterrupted page. I mean, I needless to say, it is brilliant. I mean, I just come there to read your comebacks because that's like your your dose for the day. It's really witty and it's so nice. And once again, Amrita, I would like to thank you once
Thank
more
you so
for
much for
doing the session.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. I
Oh,
wish all
thanks.
the mamas some good sleep, mamas and papas both.
Uh,
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much. Thanks, Amrita. Bye bye.
Bye.
Have a good weekend, everyone. Thanks for joining. Bye bye.